a stitch these days, but it's a plastic stitch. It's actually just part of the, for example, the door trim mold. We're using a genuine, authentic stitch. It does two things for us. One, it feels better to the touch and looks better, right? So it's because it's an authentic stitch. But two, it allows us to change the color of that stitch depending on the interior. So for example, if you get a black interior on a platinum grade car, which is intended to be more of a luxurious buyer, you get a slightly off-white stitch. Very, very luxurious, very subtle, is appropriate for that interior. You get the same black interior on the SR grade, the sport grade. Now you get an aggressive blue stitch. So the stitching changes depending on the interior color, depending on the trim. It's on the dash, it's on the doors, and it's on the console. So it's a great way for us to provide different themes and moods for the cabin. The other thing we have is a flat bottom steering wheel. So this was inspired by race cars originally, and you see it now in high-end sports cars. We brought that to Maxima. It's the first Maxima with a flat bottom steering wheel. Really lifts up the impression of the interior, and you can get it with that Alcantara insert as well on the SR grade. We've got something called a diamond finish or diamond cut wheel. It's a brighter machine finish, makes those wheels stand out even more. This is on the SR. We've got quilted seat inserts. This has been a huge, huge hit for us with the customers as well. It's something that you normally see on high-end fashion or high-end cars. When we started the project, for example, it was on something like a Bentley Continental Super Sport or an Aston Martin DB9, and we've brought this to a Maxima. So it's really something you don't see in this class. Really lifts the impression of the interior, and you can get that not only in quilted leather, but in the SR, it's in quilted Alcantara. We've carried that diamond pattern, or what we call faceting, over the finishers as well. This one is in liquid chrome finish, we call it, on the SR, but you can get it in wood and another metallic finish as well. We've added a display commander. So this was a dial that we added on the center console. Not only is the center screen a touch screen, so you can swipe it, pinch to zoom like a regular touch screen and operate that way, but because Maxima is about driving, about that enthusiast kind of customer, we didn't necessarily want you reaching back and forth all the time when you're in that focused driving scenario. What you can do instead is just use that dial right there. And that comes in particularly useful in certain functions as well. Like, imagine you have 2,000 songs in your iPod and you're trying to scroll through that list. You don't want to keep hitting down on the touchscreen. You just rotate the knob real quick, get to the song you want. Zooming in and out of a map, for example. A lot easier with this way. You just turn it to zoom in, left to zoom back out. It was modeled after the crown of an expensive watch as well, and you can see that those kind of little details that we really focused and sweated on with Maxima. One of my favorite is the start button. Not only do we move it down to the console, but it pulses with a heartbeat when you get into the car. So a neat, nice little emotional detail there to, again, give the customer the feeling that they're getting something a little bit more special than the normal. Last part of craftsmanship is we haven't forgotten about comfort and refinement. We've got our zero gravity seat. Many of you have experienced this on the Ultima. It was a seat inspired by NASA research. Well, this is our kind of next generation of that seat, if you will. We've added another layer of foam to it to make it that much more comfortable. We've also added like a noise cancellation system. So many of you travel, I'm sure you've seen or have noise canceling headphones. Maxima on Bose equipped cars has 3 microphones in the car. They're recording the amount of interior noise, and if there's unpleasant noise, it sends out an opposite wave to cancel that out. So it's a nice way of using technology again to create a very quiet ambience for the driver and the passengers as well. The last part is technology. So we've talked about technology with the 15-inch screen, 8-inch, it's the 7-inch in front of the meter and the 8 inches in the center display. We've talked about the display commander, but one of the cool tricks this has as well is you can set directions on the center display and then flick them over to the meter right in front of you. So I'll show you a brief video here that shows you that function.
Swipe it like a tablet. Pinch, zoom. You can even take directions and slide them here.
So it's a neat, Easter egg, if you will, that Maxima has built in. Again, shows that level of attention and detail on how we worked hard to integrate those two displays together. More serious topic, drowsy driving. AAA reported last year, 1 in 5 deaths on the road is due to drowsy driving. So it's a very serious problem, and one that Maxima is debuting some new technology in this segment that hopes to help with this. So it's called Driver Attention Alert. It monitors your steering inputs, and it's based around each individual driver. When it thinks that you're drowsy or you're displaying behavior consistent with drowsy driving, it flashes up an alert on the screen and an audible tone as well. And the alert has a picture of a coffee cup right here behind me and says, take a break. So this is a very unique technology that Maxima has that other competitors don't have in the segment. Speaking of safety as well, we've got our what we call safety shield technologies. There are a plethora of sensors and radar modules and cameras in Maxima that are looking out for the driver. Two key points you need to know here. One is we have a forward collision warning system. Other competitors have this as well, but we call ours predictive forward collision warning. What's different about our forward collision warning system is the radar in the front of the car is not just reading the car ahead, it's reading the car in front of that. This comes in particularly useful, for example, if you're in a bad visibility scenario, like last night when it was raining, and you're following, let's say, an Armada, and you can't see the car in front of that. You're counting on the Armada driver to brake quick enough so that you have enough time to react to a sudden, let's say, slowdown in traffic. Maxima, on the other hand, can read the car ahead of the Armada and let you know if that car is braking hard, so you have ample time to react to that. If you don't apply braking, or if you're not paying attention, Maxima will automatically apply braking for you as well.
How does it read that? The car in front of it.
Magic. It does it by reading underneath the car in front, because the radar module is very low off the ground, only about 6 inches or so off the ground, right in the lower part of the bumper. It's reading underneath the car in front to hit the car ahead.
So even at night and rain, you can still read it?
Correct, yeah. The second part you need to know is how we're applying these technologies. Typically, you'll see these technologies applied at the top of some of the grade walk, right? A very expensive option or something that you have to pay a lot of money to get into. On Maxima, we're taking a different approach. We're trying to really bring these technologies much lower down the grade walk. So we're applying them to 3 out of 5 Maxima standard. So you get forward collision warning, forward emergency braking, blind spot warning, rear cross traffic alert, all those features standard on 3 out of 5 Maximas. So a lot of high content that we're bringing down the grade walk. In addition to that, we have a round view monitor. Many of you have experienced this before. For those of you who haven't, it's 4 cameras around the car that synthesize a bird's eye view of the car. So it's almost like you're looking, at the car from a top-down view. It makes it extremely easy to park. We've applied this to crossovers and SUVs and even hatchbacks before, but never to a sedan. It's appropriate to do so on Maxima since it's our flagship sedan. And we've also got sonar sensors in the corners of the car. So 4 out of 5 Maximas have corner sonar sensors that also assist you in parking as well. The last part of the technology piece is we have an all-new telematics system. It's new for Nissan and it's launching on Maxima. It's called Nissan Connect Services, and the services is what distinguishes it as a telematics system in our lineup. You can unlock the car with the smartphone app, for example. You can flash the horn and the lights if you lose the car in a parking lot. You want to find it. You can even set curfew alerts. If you don't want your little ones going outside a certain area, it will send you a text message if they do. Same with speed alerts as well. So it brings a wealth of functions to Maxima, and it's available on a standard on the Platinum grade. So I've talked about the 4 key areas that we focused on Maxima to really set it apart from the competition. There's one more thing. We wanted to make sure Maxima was an authentic 4-door sports sedan. And so to that effect, we gave it to AMCI, which is a third-party certification organization out of California. And we gave the car to them and we asked them to test it on a test track of their choosing against some of the top level competitors, or segment above competitors, if you will. So the BMW 328i, the Audi A4, and the Acura TLX V6. And the reason we did that is we wanted to see how Maxima competes in a track setting with those well-established, well-regarded sports sedans. And the results were actually very promising, and quite frankly, we were very pleased they turned out in our favor because we didn't know how the result was going to turn out. Maxima ended up placing first. They used Buttonwillow Raceway, which is a famous racetrack in California, about 2 hours north of LA. And then second place was the BMW, about a second behind, followed by the Acura and then the Audi. So it was a really strong result for us. And the point of this was to show that dollar for dollar, Maxima offers a very compelling sporting proposition as well. It was actually the cheapest car in this test. So that covers the product side of it. I've got just 4 slides that my marketing colleagues unfortunately are not here today to share. Just 4 slides to share with you about that before I get, I know I'm the only thing standing between you and the car, so I'll run through these just as quick as I can. We've got the Maxima customer is different than the traditional CAC customer as well. This is important to know because if you're wondering, how come we cross-shop a little bit with those entry luxury cars? Well, it's because our customer is different as well. 2/3 of our customers are under 55. We tend to pull in a younger dynamic customer versus the segment where 2/3 of the customers are over 55. Because our customers are younger, they're more likely to have kids in the household as well. And we tend to do very well with the African American audience. We do typically 19% of our customers are African American versus 11% for the segment. So that's a unique attribute about Maxima as well. In terms of grade structure, we've completely changed how we do business with Maxima when it comes to our grade structure. Our dealers are reacting extremely positively to this, and we think it's going to have a very positive customer reaction as well. What we've done is we've eliminated all options, and we just have 5 grades. So there are only 5 ways to pick a Maxima. You pick your exterior color, and you're done. Now this comes in particularly useful in this day and age versus, let's say, 2 decades ago. 20 years ago, you go to a dealer, and you see the car on the dealer lot, and you fall in love with the car at the dealer lot. Today, 7 in 10 shoppers, if not more, are going online and configuring their car. So they configure their ideal car, and then they show up at the dealer. And if they don't find that trim or option they want, it's a bit of a disappointment. When you have 5 grades, you're more than likely going to find the exact car you want on the dealer showroom floor. So it's a new way we're configuring Maxima, and it's pushed us to actually add a lot of the content standard on the car. That's why navigation is 100% standard. That's why remote engine start is standard. That's why 3 out of the 5 grades have all the safety content standard, and so on. Speaking of features, here's a list of 8 features that Maxima has that you don't get on competitors like the Toyota Avalon or even entry luxury competitors like a 3 Series. Now these aren't necessarily huge innovations either. Panoramic roof, for example. We've had it on the outgoing Maxima, but obviously keeping it on the new one. It's a feature our customers absolutely love, a full-length glass roof. We have it standard on the SL and Platinum grades, but you still can't get that on an Acura TLX or even a BMW 3 Series. A power tilt and telescoping steering wheel is another one. A lot of our customers like this because especially when they like it when the steering wheel powers out of the way and the seat moves backward. Makes getting in and out of the car very easy. Another feature that Maxima has that you don't get on a 3 Series or an Acura TLX. Lastly, the grade walk itself. We have S, SV, SL, SR, and Platinum. These are our 5 grades. Some of the key content is listed here. Of course, there's a lot more content on each of these grades. SR, you'll see, is off to the side. It's a little unique because of that suspension tuning, because of that Alcantara interior. It's appealing to a much sportier customer who really wants or puts a priority on driving experience. Pricing starts at $32,410 and tops out at $39,860. This does not include the $825 destination charge as well. So with that, we've covered a lot of material. Are there any questions I can answer? Okay. Perfect.
That's right.
So with that,